Good morning, student. In previous lecture, we have started our AC bridges. We have come across to the introduction to AC bridges. In this lecture, we will see the content of this chapter first. Then we'll start with measurement of self-inductance. In AC bridges, what we have to learn is first measurement of self-inductance. There are four AC bridges in this: Maxwell inductance bridge, Maxwell inductance capacitance bridge, that is also known as Maxwell Vanes bridge, the Hayes bridge, and Anderson bridge. This Anderson bridge is important in measurement of self-inductance. Second, measurement of capacitance. There are two AC bridges, the Sauté bridge and the Shearing bridge. Next will be measurement of mutual inductance. In this, four types of AC bridges are there. First is Heaviside bridge, Campbell's modification of Heaviside bridge, Heaviside Campbell equal ratio bridge. These are kind of modification of Heaviside bridge. Carey Foster bridge. Measurement of frequency. In this, only Vanes bridge we have to learn. Then we'll learn about sources of errors in bridge circuit and their elimination. Basically, there are five kind of errors: errors due to stray field effects, leakage errors, eddy current errors, frequency and waveform errors, and residual errors. Then screening of bridge components, and at last Wagner's earthing devices. These are the contents of our chapter AC bridges. Now we'll start from our topic measurement of self-inductance. And this first AC bridge we'll learn is Maxwell inductance bridge. Here is the bridge diagram. There are four ramps in which R1 L1 is there, R3 L3 is there. In arm 2 R2 is there, in arm 4 R4 is there. This method is suitable for accurate measurement of medium inductance. In this method, unknown inductance is determined by comparing it with standard self-inductance. Here L1 is unknown self-inductance of R1, L3 is known variable inductance of R3 whose resistance, that is resistance, is constant, and variable part is known variable part is L3. Here R2 and R4 are pure resistance. As we already discussed that for a accurate measurement of any AC bridge, there must be any one or two pure resistance, that is non-inductive in nature. Here D is a detector. Here we can see that the voltage drop between this arm 1 is V1 and voltage difference in arm 2 is V2. The resultant of V1 and V2 is total V. Same here, if we see in this, the voltage drop V3 and V4 will give us V. The bridge is balanced by varying L3, here L3, and one of the resistance of R2 and R4. Here is a vector diagram of our Maxwell bridge. In this vector diagram, we have made all the I1 currents in the same phase by adjustment of variable impedance. So there are some magnitude difference, but all of them are in a phase. We have made them in phase by adjusting the impedances. So I1 and I2, let's suppose this is the I1 and I2 with some extra magnitude I3 and I4 is there. V2 is, this line is V2, which is equals to I2 R2 equals to I4 R4. If in same phase we have I1 R1, for having V1 will require I1 R1 and I1 omega L1 So with 90 degree apart, we'll draw a line I1 omega L1. The resultant of this line and this line will give us V1, and the resultant of V1 and V2 will give us V. From the condition of, now coming to the bridge balance, from the condition of bridge balance, we'll have Z1 Z4 is equals to Z2 Z3. Our Z1 is R1 plus J omega L1, Z2 is R2, Z3 is R3 plus J omega L3, Z4 is R4. By putting all these in equation first, we'll get this equation R1 R4 plus J omega L1 R4 is equals to R2 R3 plus J omega L3 R2. By opening this equation, by equating the real part and imaginary part separately, we'll have the real part R1 R4 is equals to R2 R3. So our unknown R1 is equals to R2 R3 by R4. Similarly, if we equate the imaginary part, we have omega L1 R4 is equals to omega L3 R2, in which L1 is equals to L3 R2 by R4. So the value of unknown self-inductance L1 can be determined by this. L1 is equals to R2 by R4 multiplied by R3. In the vector diagram, I1 and I2 are made in phase with current I3 and I4 by adjusting the impedance of various branches. I have already mentioned this in the vector diagram. Now coming to Maxwell inductance capacitance bridge, that is Maxwell-Vanes bridge. In this AC bridge, we have just replaced that R4 with our standard capacitor. In this diagram, we'll have R1 and L1 as our unknown quantities. R3 and R4 are known resistance and non-inductive resistance as well. C4 is our standard variable capacitor. In this method, the measurement of self-inductance, the unknown self-inductance L1, is compared with standard variable capacitor, that is C4. First of all, we have to keep in mind, like all the students should keep in mind, whenever you are creating the AC bridge, don't forget to connect it with the AC source, and don't forget to put this detector in between. Don't just focus on the arms. Always, some of the students in our previous classes forget to put this AC source with our AC bridge. Sorry. Now coming to the vector diagram of Maxwell-Vanes bridge. Don't just forget to take Maxwell-Vanes bridge, because if we say only Vanes bridge, this is Vanes bridge is a kind of bridge used for the measurement of frequency. So whenever you are taking this bridge, always put Maxwell-Vanes bridge or else Maxwell inductance capacitance bridge. Now coming to the vector diagram, as like first of all we'll make I1 R1. In 90 degree apart, we'll have omega I1 L3. The resultant of this I1 R1 and omega I1 L1 will have V1. Now we know that V1 and V3 have same potential. So V1 is equals to V3, that is equals to I3R3. So in this extension we'll have I3. Now the resultant of IC and IR, that is 90 degree apart already, will have resultant of IC and IR is I4, like IC and IR. Here the current is IR. Sorry, in this diagram it is wrongly mentioned. This is IR. Okay, so IC and IR gives I4. So we have I4 also. So now if we extend this diagram, is this phasor line to V2, and we have the resultant V1 and V2 gives V. We can also have V3 and V4 as a result, as to give our V as a resultant. But in this case we have V3 here and same V4 here, so the resultant will always be like V. Okay, sorry. Now coming to bridge balance condition, we have Z1 Z4 is equals to Z2 Z3. Now we have Z1 is equals to R1 J omega L1 multiplied by R4 plus divided by R4 divided by 1 plus J omega C4 R4 is equals to R2 R3. This is actually the parallel combination of R4. Here we have R4 also. Okay, the arm 4 will have the parallel combination of C4 and R4. So this is the parallel combination of C4 and R4. We'll get the equation like this. By equating the real and imaginary part, we'll have the real part is equals to R1 R4 is equals to R2 R3, where R1 will get R2 by R4 multiplied by R3, and in imaginary part we'll get L1 is equals to C4 R2 and R3. If we divide this R1 and L1 and R1 and multiply by omega, we'll get our quality factor Q factor, that is equals to omega L1 R1 is equals to omega C4 R4. The bridge is balanced by varying C4 and R4, which gives independent setting. There are some advantages and disadvantages of this Maxwell-Weiss bridge. This bridge permits the measurement of inductance in terms of capacitance, that is the advantageous thing. This AC bridge possesses most of the desirable feature, that is independence of balance equation when R4 and C4 are chosen as variable element. In this bridge, the simple expression for both L1 and R1 in terms of the values of bridge component. This bridge gives the independency of frequency, as the term frequency does not appear in the balance equation. In addition, advantage, this bridge lies in the fact that at balance, the only component in series with the coil under the test is a resistor. So, heavy current carrying capacity coils may be tested when carrying normal current, provided that the R2 is also capable of carrying this current. In this bridge, quality factor of any coil can be measured very easily. Some of the disadvantages of this bridge is, like, we don't have some standard variable capacitor which are so expensive, so we have two alternatives for that. And also it is to be noted that bridge balance conditions are independent of frequency only, so far as the inductance and resistance of the coil under test are themselves independent of frequency. So in practical case, electrical properties of a coil vary with the variation in temperature, current and frequency. So we have some kind of variation related to these quantities. The third one is This is very convenient and useful bridge for determination of inductance having the medium quality factor. It should be between 1 to 10. When the value of Q becomes higher than the resistance R4, it becomes very high to achieve the balance condition such that sometimes higher than available decayed resistance boxes, and also the resistance balance become very difficult to be determined precisely. So here we have completed two of the AC bridges in respect to the measurement of self inductance. Now I'm ending this video for now. In next lecture we'll continue our other two bridges for the measurement of self inductance. I'll provide this notes on our college website and on our Google Classroom as well. For any query related to this topic, you can write me. Till then, continue our lectures. Stay healthy, stay safe.